I'm delighted to introduce a great friend of this show and a great Australian. She won this morning for her commentary, her social commentary, an AM in the Australia Day Honours, and she won it for her gender equity, I'll get it right, through advocacy for men. You heard that right, gender equity through advocacy for men. Welcome, Bettina Arndt, back to Outsiders.
Thank you.
Now, the reason we're excited, Bettina, apart from you winning a gong, congratulations, that's fantastic, that's excellent, well deserved. Of course, you did great work in the 70s and 80s on all sorts of different things. But this key phrase, gender equity through advocacy for men, has this morning sent the left wing mad. They've gone nuts on Twitter. Rita's been telling us every 5 minutes, and another one. Explain why this... Tell us first about why you won the gong, and then explain why this phrase has upset so many on the left.
Well, I was nominated presumably for my work over the last 45, nearly 50 years.
And just briefly tell us, take us back through...
I was first well known in the 1970s as one of Australia's first sex therapists, and getting out there...
And feminists?
Teaching Australians about sex, yes, promoting women's rights, trying to get women to have a good time in bed was one of my initial goals.
Did you succeed?
Doing sex education through the media mainly. But then I spent almost 20, nearly 30 years as a social commentator, mainly on gender issues, and increasingly talking about the male point of view. And so, now,
why the switch from advocating for women to advocating for men?
Because feminism for me was about a level playing field, equality for men and women. And when feminism tipped over into advocating for women at the expense of men, I wasn't interested. And we've got a society which is badly tilted in favour of women, disadvantaging men on all sorts of areas, and very unfair treatment of men. And I've had enough of that. And I've been out, particularly for the last few years, working full-time to advocate for men in a range of areas. Of course, the classic has been my campus campaign to draw attention to the illegal kangaroo courts being run on our university to adjudicate rape. And that's
so again, I'll just pause you there. So you've been doing a campus tour, and we talked to you at the time. Everybody would be familiar with the photos of you being heckled and all the fuss around that. But what you were basically drawing attention to, the fact, in your opinion, that rape wasn't the big... well, you explain what you were saying.
The point is that our universities have decided to usurp our criminal law system, set up their own courts, their own regulations to adjudicate rape, because they're trying to get more convictions. This has been driven by a small feminist group who don't believe we get enough rape convictions, particularly of these young men in date rape situations. And as happened in America, they want to set up their own system which totally denies the accused normal legal rights. They adjudicate on the balance of probabilities rather than the stricter legal decisions that are made in the criminal court, and that's what they've done. And in November last year, a Supreme Court decision was made saying this was illegal for the universities to do that.
And this was you and Amanda Stoker both were involved in this and talked about on this program. So talk us through now gender equity through advocacy for men.
Well, gender equity, people normally talk about gender equity as being all about giving women more advantage. That we live in a society where women are suppressed by male patriarchy, and we need to do more and more and more and more to promote women. And I argue that gender equity is supposed to be about fair treatment for men and women, and that's what I'm doing. I'm working to make men and women both be treated
but aren't men, sorry, James, but aren't men already doing pretty well on their own? You know, they dominate in the highest paying fields. They don't do as well at school and university as women, but in their work life, do they need advocacy? Do they need that help?
Well, who does? The working situation is very complex. Who does all the dreadful jobs in our society, the garbage collection, the dangerous jobs, the risky jobs, the firefighters, are mainly men. Men do the risky work. Sometimes they get paid highly for that. There are still a fair number of men at the top for a variety of reasons. We've only recently had women moving through to those upper echelons of managerial positions and being pushed now into those positions at a great rate. I mean, there are so many. If you mentioned education, 60% of graduates are now women. At what point are we going to worry about the fact that so few males are graduating from university?
James?
But and I got to say, Bettina, congratulations, and as a man, thank you for your advocacy on my behalf. But I wonder if it's actually not a bit of a misnomer to say that it's advocacy just for men, because to my mind, all of this feminist campaigning, this idea that women are victims, men are horrible, all of that just pushes the sexes apart. And so, to me, isn't there a big problem that men and women just are getting along worse because of these campaigns that demonize men? Everybody loses when you wind up demonizing just one side unfairly.
Absolutely. And I every day hear from women, hear from mothers of sons, hear from women who have men in their lives who are being unfairly treated, men who are being subject to false accusations of violence or abuse, men who aren't being treated fairly in our court system. Women everywhere are really worried about this. They see the current approach to feminism as really divisive, as you say, creating divisions between men and women. A very bad move
Rita?
for our society.
If you want to see how just utterly bigoted and intolerant and hateful much of the feminist movement is towards women, conservative women, then just have a look at the reaction to you. And I was going to read out a tweet here from a lady we got to know late last year. Remember Sherelle Moody?
Yes.
She's the one who said the firefighters are going to go back and bash their partners and we've got to watch out for that. Even the Greens distanced themselves from this woman. She works for us, James. That's nice, isn't it? She's one of ours. Anyway, she said, giving Bettina Arndt this award is like giving George Pell one for child safety. Arndt's work is not about gender equity. It's misogyny-driven hate designed to keep women barefoot, pregnant, and tied to the kitchen sink. Is that what your aim is? Are you wanting women to be out of the workforce, out of universities?
Your response, Bettina, and then we've got to go.
In the kitchen.
Of course I'm not. I think I celebrate women's achievements, the choices women have. We've never had a more privileged group of women as women in our society, and that's a wonderful thing. But let's offer fair treatment to men too.
Bettina Arndt, you are a great advocate, both for men and for women, which is, of course, gender equity and your goal. Thanks so much for coming back on Outsiders, and, of course, congratulations. You are the first Outsiders to win an AM. So, I'm sure there will be many more. You never know. Well done, whoever decides these things. Thanks, Bettina.